What is going on, guys? Welcome to episode number 3 of our Big 12 Team Builder Dynasties off-season in year number 4 as we head into year number 5. We are now into signing day. It's time to take a look at where everybody's going.
Yes, and we will look at the top classes, so hopefully the Big 12 cleaned up. And you guys get to see where all of your custom recruits went. Let's do it.
Because we're the national champions, we are going first in our signing reveal. We did get Josh Miller right ahead of UCF, 2,900 points. This is really going to help out that defensive secondary and our defense. We grabbed Willie Nelson. We lost out on Socrates Fortlow, though. 4,300 points down. Ohio State made a late push, but Broken Arrow is going to nab the #1 pass rushing defender.
You should develop it into a force guy that's going to possibly play a pivotal role in this rivalry. But Darnell Savage going to Ardmore.
And we know that him and Paris Austin both being from Texas, and we know that Darnell Savage being the #1 wide receiver recruit didn't really feel like he wanted to play second fiddle to Paris Austin. That really was the determining factor here, plus all the receivers that we were losing.
I think he's going to step in and possibly be your #1 receiver.
Probably.
As a true freshman. And he might be better than 78 overall. We'll have to see. But, yeah, I like your point there. And as it applies to the other top receiving recruit, Griffin Rivers out of Lubbock,
I'll see what happens.
More West Texas area. Is he going to sign with Odessa? We're going to find out in a little bit. Mike Curtis, I believe you had him. You've had Tomsha. Quentin Booker.
It's a big get.
Signed. Justin Keith is a big one.
We beat Camu by 310 points.
That one was close. Camu needed Keith to anchor their new look offensive line next year. Couldn't get him. Andy Young losing to ACU there. And down the line here, we got Chad Masters.
Yep.
Signing with Uba. It was actually pretty close. I think he liked Ardmore's academics as a institution of higher learning, as a private university. But yeah, down the list here, I like the way that you guys recruited, and you did. Obviously, I think we've established that you did get Babatunde.
He's going to be my favorite target.
Could be as well.
Outside of Savage, he'll be my favorite target.
Really, you got the guys you wanted outside of Fortlow, and Chris Wright was a surprise signing for Fresno. We were going at it together, and didn't matter. Frank Larson was a close one, too. Okay, so Nebraska State here, and this is where the coaching change might hit us the hardest, because
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that's what I was exactly going to bring up.
We're going to lose out on Tyler Dykes. We lost out on Chris Wright, who I thought we had the inside track on.
Kind of came out of nowhere.
Thomas Johnson, I believe we've had. Willie the Kid is going to Alabama. He signs over. We lost by 200 points. So he's taking the Tua route, going from Hawaii to Alabama. John Wolf we did get. I like having John Wolf out of Iowa. That's a JUCO, but still a good get. Jordan Allen we lose on. Sean Lewis was a late add. For some reason I had a good feeling about this dude as a JUCO speed running back. But yeah, down the line here, I believe we got Tidwell, but we could not close the deal on some of these guys, like David Ward. Got nothing. Alvin Tyson was a guy I was excited about, but FSU jumps way ahead. Did get Ronnie Rouse. Lose Larry Lemon to the Skeeters. So the Skeeters were going after a lot of our guys as well. But that's what our board is going to look like at the end of the day. I like some of our defensive depth, but up at the top here, that coaching change did us in. Let's look at ACU's board here, and they did a very good job closing the deal on some of these guys. Michael Logan. This was a guy that was playing hard to get, man. Okay, he was locking us out. All sorts of crap. As you see, there are no team builder teams in the running.
Does he like basketball?
I don't know, but man, we tried so hard. He locked us out twice. ACU, though, finally closed the deal there. Anthony Johnson, slight get out of California. And just a reminder, all these names you see here will change. They will change.
Yes.
Because we will have a live stream for you guys next week. And we'll announce that date when it comes. But anybody that's new, we have a really fun live stream. Everybody throws out names in the comment section. It's kind of a community thing. We like your name. We're going to rename the guy. That's all to lessen up on the generic side of these first and last names to spice it up a little bit, because the whole NCAA is going to be Jeff Jones. No offense to any Jeff Joneses out there, but that's what the whole NCAA looks like right now.
Yep.
ACU is going to stand out and be a little bit different. So that'll be fun. So make sure you guys stay posted. Andy Young was a guy that was going between Ardmore, Notre Dame, and ACU, and it really came down to Notre Dame ACU.
Yeah, the athletics, the academics. It was really a big-time factor for Andy Young, and it sucks because we did put some points on him, but 8,600 points, losing by that much, that's a lot.
You know, ACU, private school as well, so they're also known for how seriously they take academics. You can argue whether or not they take tests for the people at ACU. There's some rumors floating around about ACU kind of looks the other way when it looks to their football team. Some rumors going on.
Just rumors. Just rumors.
Some rumors, though. Charles Cox, I believe, was a new signee. Armani Roussel, signing with ACU over Little Rock. So he's one of the few guys that Little Rock was interested in that spurned them.
It's a little bit of a surprise to me, because when we look at Little Rock and how big their board was with all this talent that they got, to not want to be a part of that, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It seems like, why would Armani Roussel want to do that? Maybe he wants to be the guy eventually.
Yeah, that could be. And then down the line here, not a classic ACU class, but I mean, these, I'd say 3 signees, very big news for the Spartans.
I'm going to go on a little bit of a hot take here. This is one of their worst classes that they've had. One of the best recruiting boards in all of year number 4, guys. The Amarillo Armadillos are killing it. They got Griffin Rivers, an 84. Could be better than an 84 overall. Could be a little bit worse. We don't know quite yet what his overall rating is going to be, but this is a huge get to get this guy. They unfortunately did not double up and get Darnell Savage, but guys, they hit this thing so hard.
Yeah, Griffin, big story there. Not considering Little Rock, we know that Gunner has decided to remain, and everybody assumed that Griffin's lack of interest in Little Rock was born out of the insider knowledge that Gunner was gone to the NFL. Turns out doesn't happen. However, Griffin will be staying closer to home, possibly so that his dad can see more football games there. He's obviously going from Lubbock to Amarillo, a little drive down the interstate. So, interesting thought there for Griffin. And he's going to, the Brock Musselman train is moving forward. He's showing his recruiting chops here with a fresh contract, a fresh set of, fresh slate for Musselman.
TJ Holt, a 6'8" tackle, the number 3 in all the nation here, and then we get Thomas Markwart, the number 6 tackle. I would assume that Holt's going to be on the blind side at left, and then Markwart's going to be at the right tackle spot. They get Joey Moore, the number 5 defensive end. Tried to go after Jeremy Allen, couldn't nab him for McAllen. Chuck Perry, a number 10 corner. Top 10 talent here, guys, on defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, 3-star. That's interesting. They signed 2 kickers, so I don't know how that's going to work out. But they've had Mills for a while. They've had Juice Robinson, custom recruit, for a while. So they got some nice pieces down here for depth down the road. But I think for Amarillo, this is a very deep class, and got some top-heavy talent there as well.
Another coaching change here in the Big 12. We had Coach Cust leave Nebraska State, saw the effects of that coaching change. Now we're kind of seeing that effect on Broken Arrow. However, like we mentioned before, it's interesting that despite that coaching change, Socrates Fortlow decided, nope, Broken Arrow is the place that I want to be at. I don't care who's coaching. I want to be a Wrangler.
He really likes the campus. Reports are he really enjoys the sights and the sounds of certain things at the campus. That's the thing I've heard.
Oh,
but Socrates is a big fan of the campus.
Specific.
He's a big fan of the campus. Mm-hmm. Yes, in his hippocampus. Yeah. Jimmy Mark. All right, defensive tackle. They've had him for a while. And you said the coaching change negatively affected. I do not agree with you, sir, because these guys are sticking with Uba.
I don't even remember what I said. Did I actually say? I
Well,
said,
you hinted at it, but
was it effective? I don't know.
a little bit. You were hinting at it. But Raul Braga and Chad Masters. I like these guys. They're both coming out of Oklahoma.
Yep.
Braga by way of Portugal. And this guy's huge. 6'8". You think this is a guy that's going to feature in Tim Lester's kind of mid-range passing game?
Yep.
Although he is a blocker, but I think Braga thinks he can become the next Rob Gronkowski. Okay, that's what he
254 pounds. I would say that's a very good possibility that you can definitely do that. And Chad Masters isn't the type of guy that's going to just be bombing it all over the place either.
Right.
I mean, he's 6'4", but kind of fits more in that mold with what Tim Lester's trying to do. This is interesting.
The clean pocket passer who can pick apart a defense when he's sitting inside the pocket. Don't ask him to stretch the field too much. That is Chad, the quote-unquote game manager. That's the Chad Masters label, and Tim Lester thinks he can work with that. And I think he's probably right. And that should do it for Uba's class. I had a weird feeling about this dude. I felt like he was going to be a star, like
Ziegler,
like plus 25. But I guess we'll never know.
No. All right, Denver Tech lost out on Gabe Hill, the number 1 running back. He's going to go into Florida. He's going to stay into Florida by going to Florida State.
How about number 3? Number 3 school.
Western Kentucky.
It's a little weird.
It's odd.
A little different. They do, however, get Charles Dodds and Maurice Brown. We talked about Oakfield, Oregon, I remember that.
What's the population of Oakfield?
I think it was like 10,000. I don't remember. Maurice Brown. I think these guys are going to become a very good duo, and we talked about J.R. Newstrom transferring.
Yep.
So, but I mean, Denver Tech's got plenty of depth at safety, so I don't think that's a huge deal. Nathan Stevens could develop into a big deal. I would be interested to see how they plan on using him, if they're going to redshirt him this year or keep him just to be the primary backup, because they do have that one guy, Rusty Greer.
Yeah.
Who's been in the...
Do you remember him?
He's been in the program for a couple of years. Well, we'll see. Cody Morgan signs. This guy I was excited about, A.J. Brooks. Eventually is going to land in Buffalo. I think he's interested in starting as a true freshman. That's probably his M.O. But then down the line, a few of these guys in the 65 range.
Yeah, it's
nothing amazing. I wanted Cortez Fitzpatrick. I love that name.
There seems to be a changing of the guard here. ACU and Denver Tech not having very good classes. I mean, it's
pretty good.
It's a decent class for them.
Yeah.
But it's not how it used to be.
Yeah, they're usually inside the top 8 in the nation, but I mean, now they're not even... I would argue they're not the best in the Big 12 either, and we'll see that when we look at the signing day.
All right, this was a big year for Kansas A&M in the recruiting, and they didn't really do much. They did not do enough. I don't feel like it. You see some 75s there, but they didn't do enough, man. They lost to Brad Hall, Frank Larson, Justin Keith to us, Orlando Austin.
Yeah, they did address the offensive line, but they wanted the interior anchors at guard. They wanted Hall and Keith. Those were the prized potential possessions of this recruiting class, and they whiffed on both of them.
Yeah, and you got to wonder if any of those guys in the top 3 had some reservations on what the future of the program was going to be like. They don't know who's going to be the guy after, or any sort of confirmation from the school on who's going to be the guy for the 3 years remaining of their entire collegiate career after Bud Warner's gone. That's probably got to play a factor if you're one of the top tier guys, wouldn't you think? You're trying to grow your own portfolio.
Well, Bud Warner's been rumored to have been telling his recruits that Goodman is next in line.
He's the next guy.
You know, they have to have a backup plan, or else they get savaged by the other coaches. Like, this guy's not going to be around very long.
Like in NCAA 13 recruiting, you could lie about the other school.
Oh,
do you remember that? I just got that in the Discord. You can actually talk smack about your rival schools.
Yeah, okay, I think I remember that. So they get Tucker Smith and Patrick Lee, as well as Peterson, Chuck McGee, everybody.
I like that Johnny Rice.
You think he's going to be pretty good?
He's going to be pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, so they get a couple lower-rated guys. Also, another guy I have a good feeling about. refuse to believe that NCAA would be so cruel as to give somebody a 40.
Especially as the number 81 center.
Something is telling me this guy's going to do pretty well.
As much praise as we were giving Amarillo for their recruiting board, I don't think anybody was better than Little Rock. Getting LaQuinton Evans, Josh Mitchell, the 84, losing to Savage, but getting Kyle Hill, Hayden Reed, Jack Mitchell, Keneal. It just doesn't stop.
Yep, Keneal Mason does sign with Little Rock. And, down the line, they didn't sign too many new guys. Kelvin Parker, I think, might have been a new addition. But as far as the offseason guys, I don't think they got a ton of these guys. But most of this damage was done the day they beat ACU at home. And that gave all of these players, we talked about it before in the Wednesday vids, but we talked about it where it's sort of like all those positive vibes equals recruiting success.
Yep.
And that's what we saw here. Now here is a team, I believe, that really had an underrated class. I don't think a lot of people, for some reason, McAllen is an afterthought for a lot of people.
They kind of are.
I don't know why, but it's just the way that things shake out. You know, they haven't made too much noise, haven't been too down in the dumps. They just kind of are what they are. 7 to 8 win program every single year.
Nobody really comments about them or talks about them. They're just kind of
So,
there.
Let's hear it, McAllen fans. I want to hear something out of you guys. Now, so Claude Gray, losing him to in-state rival Midland State, hurts. However, they do sign Ed Small, and they get Jeremy Allen, pry him away from Amarillo. Blake Moody, a guy that they were going after, pretty hard athlete, ends up choosing USC. Nick Durbin, that's an upset right there because head coach Jackson was looking for the next big thing at running back. He wanted to find a running back that could plug in after Andres Buckley leaves and be like the next stud guy to run in his spread option offense, and they haven't really found him unless it's Matt Smith.
Didn't really lose too much, I guess, because when we look at Nick Durbin, he was the number 4 running back in this class, and then now Matt Smith, the number 5 guy.
Yeah.
Just have to see keep tabs on both of those guys to see how they're going to do.
I would be interested to see, too, if Taylor could play running back. Dean is not at 270, but I would be interested in that. Spoiler, Junior Cash signing with the Skeeters.
They needed a
Custom
quarterback.
recruit.
And they need a quarterback that's going to grow. They need a quarterback that's going to be up to probably like what do you think here? A 72 freshman?
You know, if they redshirt
years,
him. You know, they redshirt him. You're probably looking at
88.
80, 90, I would say, overall.
Yeah.
91 or so.
They need a guy like that.
Yeah.
Playing for the future.
He could be that. Joe Austin was a guy that they were never really looking at out of Nebraska. Eventually settles on USC. A couple guys down here we're looking at. But, I like this class. I think it's a little bit underrated. I think McAllen could do some things here with these guys.
All right, so we just talked about Claude Gray going to Midland State. Number 1 athlete. This is something that Midland State prides themselves on, is getting athletes, getting players that can play ball.
Yeah, they like that. Cedric Taylor and Scott Mills was big. Sly Cochran, I don't know why.
That's so stupid.
I don't know why he didn't sign there, but
I still have to look that up. Like, why does that? Where do they go?
Give us your theories, guys. I do think that this was a little underwhelming for Midland State. We've talked about this before. Midland perceives themselves as one of the name brands in this conference, well, the one with all the cachet. They were not an original Big 12 member, according to our history, but they did join the earliest out of any of these programs. So, they're the only team left standing after the Big 12 is rated by the Pac-12. So that they have that in their favor. So they think of themselves as one of the early teams. Like, they deserve to be the best team in the conference just by virtue of having more history.
The cachet.
I know, but then when it comes down to on-field, it hasn't been there. Recruiting has been slipping under Coach Michaels. And this is something that they have to figure out next year, or else you might see the results on the field begin to deteriorate. So they need to up the ante in a big way pretty soon. But they do have Kent Collins coming in. We'll talk about that in the next video.
Hopefully the savior of the program. I'm kind of on the fence with Odessa State because I want to be happy for them because they've come out of obscurity in this series from year number 1, where they were at from where they're at now.
They were, out of the 12 teams in popularity, they were 12th.
Yes, and now they've come into the fold, being one of the more popular teams in the series, and it just seems a little bit shady what's going on. And I don't have anything, there's nothing concrete.
You're casting aspersions here.
I am casting aspersions, and I just want to be guarded a little bit. I don't want to jump on the hype train quite yet, because I feel like something's up.
Hey, well, I've said it before. The Cleveland Browns could prove me wrong this season, but a lot of times people confuse going from bad to good as going from bad to amazing. It's not quite the same thing. You know, the Browns are now they're playoff caliber roster, but so are 14 other teams in the NFL. So it's like, hey, maybe even 20 teams can make the playoffs. So the Browns are now just one of those teams.
Right.
So I understand the fans are excited that they don't completely suck anymore, but you do need to scale back your expectations.
Just go back.
I mean, think of how good the teams are in this conference. There's no reason Odessa is going to be the best. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're like now one of 6 teams that could win the conference.
Exactly.
Got to guard against those things. And we see it on the field here. Braxton Austin Sr., the new head coach, prides himself on his recruiting. They kick out Stan Leach to get this amazing recruiter in control of get his tentacles in the entire program, and he can't deliver.
It's a good word.
He can't deliver on Griffin Rivers and Darnell Savage. The question is, why not?
And we've already talked about the Darnell Savage issue, that he can't keep his nephew. He can't keep his lips to stop moving.
Yeah.
There's
Paris? Yeah, Paris is there's just talk.
Yeah, there's bad talk, bad blood between Darnell Savage already with Paris Austin, and it's like, dude, you could have had your number 2 here if you just buttered him up a little bit. So they can't get on the same page because they're both hotheads. Maybe. And then now the Griffin Rivers thing, you know, Griffin's not as hot-headed as Gunner is, and so he's looking at that like, okay, I mean, do I want to go to an established program like Amarillo, something that is a little more stable? Here's the problem.
Here's the problem with Griffin Rivers. So we talked about it with his brother. The problem is Griffin Rivers he's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
That's what
I'm saying that as a slight,
but
because people are gonna question his want to. He's very reserved. Doesn't make a lot of waves. A lot of people are going to read that as weakness.
But that's why he went to Amarillo, though. He's just gonna ball out. He's gonna do his job, and that's it.
He was probably looking at this drama and was like, okay.
I'm better.
Okay, guys.
I'm better than that. I'm taking the high road.
I don't know. But I like Darnell Savage at Ardmore. I think he's going to be a stud, and we'll see about Griffin Rivers. I think he's got the skill set. But back to Odessa State here. They did sign these guys, but I mean, they lost out on a lot of guys that they were competitive with. Takeo Kumanoto, custom recruit out of Southlake, is going to go to Nebraska, and that sucks because we try to keep all our custom recruits in house, but sometimes they just come out of left field and blindside us. The good news is we will see Takeo pretty much every year since he's going to be at Nebraska, so we'll see him play the Prairie Doges. So that'll be fun.
Coming out of their hole.
Yeah. The problem is, though, I mean, these guys, they couldn't get these guys like Ross and Wheeler, but
they're in the league for them.
Yeah, I think the problem with Odessa State was that they've got a lot of guys left over. Didn't lose too many. We talked about it in players leaving, a lot of returning players, so not a ton of room. I don't think it's fair to completely judge Braxton on this recruiting class. This is a recruiting class he's building towards, but in terms of numbers, that was never going to be there.
Well, I mean, just think about it. They had the number 1 recruiting class last season.
Right.
In all the NCAA.
But they're very young.
So not a lot of playing time to go around. Last but not least, the Shreveport Skeeters. They got Tyler Dykes, a guy that you were going after pretty hard. And I like this sign. This is a guy that's really going to embody that defensive mindset that they're going to have this season yet again. We're Shreveport. That's really what that assistant coach, the defensive coordinator,
Benny Francis,
is going to try to instill in his young guys here. And you can see they definitely got better on defense, getting a Koye. We'll have to see where Brian Mayfield's going to play. Even King on the line. Junior Cash at quarterback. 2 linemen that are going to be pretty solid as well. The number 9 center. And then Albert there, the guard at 70. It's a pretty good class, all things considered, for Shreveport. A lot of high 60s.
Yeah.
I like it. I like what they did.
They really haven't strayed from the formula. It's just a matter of how are the coordinators going to roll with the guys who are already there. I think that's the big question. These guys, LaDuca wants to keep doing what he's been doing in terms of the profile of player that he's been looking for and that he wants, big physical players from the Midwest and the Southeast, like Kansas, Ohio, Louisiana, Texas, that kind of thing. He's all about those kind of players. Florida a little bit. So, be interesting to see how these guys are implemented, if they're really going to invest too much in red shirts, because when you're a coaching staff on the hot seat, you start to not get too worried about the future. You were thinking about this season and this season alone.
Start thinking about in the now, trying to get results now, trying to hit the big lottery numbers. All right, guys, so now it's time to take a look at the top classes. And, of course, as we suspected, Little Rock is number 1, right ahead of Alabama and Ohio State.
Wow.
9 4-star athletes, and the majority of those being 3 stars. So they got the depth that they wanted. I love what they did.
Yeah.
Love it.
This Mitchell dude, I think, could be pretty good, too. And then they also have Anderson with Evans, with Parker and Keneal Mason, and they already got that Wilson dude on the team.
Sophomore now.
This team's going to be dangerous, especially offensively. They just got to hope that Buddy knows what to do, because we talked about it. Buddy's this old school guy who's coaching like he's in the year 2000.
He can sweet talk you, but can he game plan?
But does he have the X's and O's chops, Like, Buddy's not like this innovative dude who's like the smartest guy in the room. He's like that CEO motivator type who tries to get you going and like, oh yeah, keep going, keep fighting. Like, oh yeah, I trust in you, I believe in you. It's like, it can go pretty far. But would you trust him going up against Nick Saban or somebody?
He's basically, in a Michigan term, he's Brady Hoke.
He's kind of a Brady Hoke guy
who's
stumbling into all of this talent. The question is he going to be able to use it? Ardmore, coming off a national title, you finish in 6th. This might be your best recruiting class to date.
I think it is. And
pretty sure
really helping out the fact that we got help from everywhere. We got a running back, got a quarterback. Look at we've hit in our top 10. We hit almost every single position that really matters. Defensive end, linebacker, guard, receivers, running back, quarterback, corner.
Yeah.
We hit everything in that top 10. So we really covered our bases there. As you scroll down a little bit further, Amarillo in the number 12. We knew that they had a good class coming in. Griffin Rivers obviously being their number 5. Star athlete, Holt, Marquardt.
You gotta like the tackles.
I like the tackles. I like the defense.
DBs, hit that. ACU comes in 14th. That's a little disappointing for them. Only 18 signees. But, I do like their top gets here. Working inside the trenches. We'll see where those athletes end up. But you got some yards, and you got the middle linebacker there. Down the ways, wow, Shreveport. With the numbers, quantity-wise, very good at 22.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they're this high.
We said that they were going to have a good class.
Yeah.
And I like it. I like what they did here. Jafari Okoye being the only 5'11" guy on the entire roster. So like we said, we like that. We like the fact that they go after size. It's a good one.
And I think it's interesting that, we take a team like Shreveport and you look at that class rating, there's no reason why they have to be a losing program. That's the motto.
Yep.
That's kind of going around everybody. It's not the official school motto.
No.
That's not the official school motto you want. There's no reason why we have to be a losing program.
There's no reason why we suck.
But, the image is out there that Shreveport's kind of funky, kind of goofy. But when you get down to brass tacks, if you come up with the 20th ranked recruiting class in the nation,
you mean business. You
got to produce these guys. You got to develop them, and you got to make it count and turn into W's, and that's the hope around there. Nebraska State 21st. This is pretty high for us, and I'm kind of liking it. We've had Seamus for a while, and custom recruit Jack Danger as well. This Pennington dude guy. Got a good feeling about just that name. I feel like it's probably a good name for us. That's how we recruit.
You recruit on name alone.
We just go on it. We just take out the phone book and be like, I like that guy's name. Broken Arrow comes in 22nd. Here, McAllen in 23, so we got a little
cluster.
Yeah, we're all bunched up around there. I'd like to see us move up a little bit next year. Midland in 25th over Michigan. Denver Tech, 28th. Only 16 signees, though. I think, if they pick up a few 3-stars, maybe they jump to 20th or something. But, not a ton of signees. And a little bit low on the impact, guys. Camu in 31st. And they at least hit the offensive line, but maybe not as much as Camu fans had hoped. They whiffed on the top 2 targets that they wanted. Odessa 37th, but only 10 signees. The big news here is the 5 and 4-star. So maybe next year they're going to up that quality completely there for Odessa. I'd say no reason to worry. Still got a lot of young guys on the roster, so there's no room for signees to even make the roster.
I would definitely agree with that assessment, and I believe that is all of our 12 team builder teams here as we just scroll through. I don't think anybody had the worst class ever.
Houston, 12. Ouch.
Nice. Good job, Houston.
Good job.
That's going to be it for today's episode. Leave a like if you like this thing, and of course, post in the comment section which school you are the most excited about and why. Let us know in the comment section. I would love to know if you're excited about Ardmore's class, Amarillo's class. Which player are you really looking forward to seeing in year number 5, possibly year 6, depending on what the roster shakes out to be and red shirt situations go. But I think we're good.
Yep. And let us know which school you want to see do better in recruiting. Let us know what your thoughts are there. If you want to tell us why we suck and why we're not managing your favorite teams correctly, let us know. We're all ears.
We're all ears.
All ears. Positive feedback is always good.
24/7. All ears. I respond to comments all the time.
Yep. He literally goes through the comments, reads. I read every single one on the college football videos. But like ACU Denver Tech, I mean,
they're still a 99.
I'm not gonna say changing the guard yet, but I mean, if they put more recruiting classes like that together, maybe there will be. But we'll see. We will see. Interesting scenario brewing here in the Big 12.
Yeah, and then obviously the next episode that we're going to have is going to be the positional changes, training results, and we'll go from there. And that's really, we're going to be starting to get into year 5 for real. We're going to be getting into the custom recruiting classes. Who made it? Who made the cut from all of your guys' submissions? We're going to go over schedules, redshirting, all that stuff in the next 2 episodes. And then obviously the big one, ACU, we're landing it here on ACU, but the big one being the ACU renaming live stream. And there you guys are going to be able to take part in your prizes that you ended up winning as well, and being able to rename ACU freshmen. It's going to be fun. Hope to see you guys there. Time yet to still be decided, so make sure you guys are turning that notification bell on and really checking out the community tab. That's where I'm going to be posting everything news related as far as the channel goes, so you guys know what is going on with the series. So love to know your thoughts. Post them in the comment section below. Leave a like, and we'll see you guys in the next one. As always, peace.